So you're in your car?
No, actually, the kid's still up, so I'm in the front of the house.
Okay.
Luckily, my daughter's still awake, so I was able to set up. Otherwise, I would have brought my laptop out to the car and hoped the Wi-Fi was strong enough.
Yeah. Thanks for putting so much effort, man, and appreciate, and it's kind of funny that we talk all the time on various platforms pretty much every day, and we talk about the same thing, positive, 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 right? And this is the probably the first time it's like, our bedroom secret is out, because it's the camera on, and it's for everybody to have a look at that, what we generally talk. So thanks, man.
Well, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, and positive is better than the alternative. So,
Absolutely.
what time is it there now?
It's 9:32 a.m. in the morning.
So you guys are only 12 and a half hours ahead right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, for some reason I thought you were like 14 or 15, but
no, not that bad yet. So great, so it's just a friendly chat, so far, and then we'll keep it that way because Justin is an amazing friend, and so Justin is the vice president of Zola, and then former executive director of IGDA. I know him from his days in 505, I guess, so probably Justin can talk about himself much better. And, one thing I keep talking about Justin is there is not even a single person in game industry who doesn't know Justin, or Justin doesn't know, so everybody knows that the most connected.
There's a few.
Yeah,
so I was having a conversation. I was having a conversation with a friend today, and I'm like, I have this person's contact information, but I don't have their work email. So there's a few.
Yeah, can be probably odd one outs, but yeah. So would you like to add something more in your introduction? Can you please introduce yourself?
I'll do just quick recently. So yeah, VP of Strategy and General Manager of Xsola Funding Club, which is a matchmaking service for developers and investors. I recently finished my term on the Global Game Jam Board of Directors. Before that, I was on the IGDA Board of Directors, stints at consulting for Team 17, 505 Games, Activision, and Capcom, along with my own consulting business has been up and running for, I think 12 years now.
Wow.
So it's been a good ride. I can't complain. games have been pretty good to me.
Yeah, I can totally agree. So since this is about positivity, and as the gamers and the game devs, we are always positive about things, against all odds, basically, whenever we see enemies, like go for it, fight it out, and so here's a challenge, before we start routine question answer, I'm giving you some names, and you need to find positive. First one is easy. Ouya.
Positive for Ouya. I'm gonna call that Stadia 2.0.
Big Rig, the game.
What Big Rigs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. You can most people, you can drive and be on 420 since it's 420 still here and not actually hurt anybody.
And the last one, and probably the best one, President Donald Trump.
This might be the only time you hear me speechless. He hasn't blown up the world yet.
I'll spill my coffee. Oh, awesome, man. It was funny. Great.
Well, I got one. He's making his kids rich. Does that count?
Yeah, that's the heritage, that's what he learned, that's what he did, that's what he got from his parents and all that, right? Passing on. Amazing. So today he actually is signing the executive orders for complete halt on the immigration, so crazy guy, but yeah, okay.
Well, I actually think that may benefit everybody else more than it benefits us, but
yeah, I know. Great. So you are one of those guys who flies more than you actually walk. So how's it going for
Um,
you now?
I've been walking a lot actually lately. I've been doing well, actually, what am I at? I'm at 15,000 steps for the day. So it's about 6.5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little interesting. I would actually still be on a trip right now. I was supposed to leave last week, Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
to keynote a talk in Guadalajara and then fly to Europe for some stuff, some meetings in Romania, Kiev, and then Reboot Red, along with a student thing, would have been starting in a couple days in Dubrovnik. So all of that has been wiped out, and I'm actually home. Which the positive of that is spending a lot more time with the family, and I'm actually almost done with my taxes.
You got 3 months time, but good, you finished it
It'll be the
already.
first year in a long time I get them in early. So there's your positive.
Absolutely. It's a big positive, great, so yeah, so the next question is that, being in the Exola and, the hyper energy you have, you're super connected with indies and, you do the matchmaking and funding and all those kind of things and stuff for them. So just some, something you can give to indies, how they can stay productive during this time and how can they actually make the most of it, so.
Well, I think that, honestly, I think indies and smaller studios actually have a pretty big advantage over the large studios or the really, really big mega studios right now. You've heard Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely. Some other big games are going to end up being delayed indefinitely because it's much harder for them to switch to a work from home environment than
Right.
it is a small studio. Most small studios are working from home, either somebody's couch or garage or basement or a series of friends that are in their own. So I actually think it's an opportunity for them to take advantage of the fact that since the tools for development are so democratized,
Mm-hmm.
um, small teams, I think, will have a better, easier time working and taking advantage of the situation because they don't need as much support and resources of the really large teams. And the smaller teams actually have a lot more, I guess, overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Where the big studios, there's not a lot of overlap. Everybody's so specialized that that it's really difficult if one person's slacking or falls behind to get caught up or find somebody else to plug the holes. So I actually, those studios. So what is it? Darwin says survival is the fittest, but you
Right.
got to think about it, survival of the fittest isn't the smartest. It isn't the strongest. It's
Yes.
the quickest to adapt to change. Right.
Awesome.
So I think adapting to the change quickly, um, being really smart. I mean, we've seen that obviously people are stuck at home. They're playing a
Mm-hmm.
lot more games. I think the numbers from a couple weeks ago were gaming's up
Oh,
70%.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
So, now that I don't know what that means for games 6 months to 12 months from now, but it definitely is good news for anybody who's got a game or about to launch a game. So,
Right. Right. So do you think that the investment trends will also change because of this thing? Do you see some,
I think it's going to take a little longer. As you know, the investment process can be really long and slow as it is, and it's really hard. So there's a lot of advantage to everything going on. One of the big disadvantages, obviously, is due diligence. It's really hard
Mhm.
for me to conduct due diligence from a studio
Right.
virtually. I
Right.
can't go in and kick the tires. I can't go in and check bodies in the seats. I can't go in and meet I can't go in and actually, handshake and meet the team. So that's going to slow some investments down. I think
Mhm.
what's going to happen though is you have a lot of money that's pulled back out of the market and sitting on cash, and they still want to invest in stuff.
Right.
And one of the I think most attractive places is gaming. And I mean, I'm definitely not going to invest in ride sharing or oil right now. So I think games might be the place to go. So I actually think there's going to be a lot of money looking to find ways into games. The danger
Right.
is that means probably also a lot of stupid dumb money,
Right.
but there'll be some good money and smart money, and hopefully we're seeing a lot of that in our funding club.
Mhm.
So I think I think some people speed up investments, some will slow down. I think for
Mhm.
projects that are actually already on the way or nearing completion that just need a little bit of money to finish, if
Mhm.
you know who to contact
Mhm.
and how to get in touch with people, there's money out there for people to help finish projects, especially if you can get something out before the end of this year.
Mhm.
People, we need content, and I think a lot of the big games are going to get delayed. So really good indie games that
Right.
need a little push. There's an opportunity if you know where to look and you know how to pitch.
Right. 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 Yeah. So I remember, we we were discussing about the opportunities for the content and everything during this time, right? So,
Yep.
and especially content which can be done at home or like at this kind of environment, it doesn't need that infrastructure going out and all those kind of things, So it's a kind of boom time, and I know something what happened with Steam, something what happened with Twitch, something what happened with Warzone, right? The right timing, and
Yeah, Warzone. I mean, talk about timing for that. Where they launched they launched a few days before we got sent to the safer at home. So yeah, timing couldn't have been better. But I think again, content consumption in general. I forgot what the numbers were for Netflix, but Netflix numbers are through the roof. Disney,
absolutely.
Disney saw a big lull after Mandalorian. Like a lot of people dropped subscriptions, and those have all come back. I think Apple Arcade's seen a big boom.
Right.
I heard that Twitch, YouTube Gaming,
And it's like
and
through the roof. It's
and
like
three or
billions of
four
our,
others are yeah through the roof. I mean, come on, you got Formula One and NASCAR now doing it virtually in video games, and one of the
right.
guys even freaked out and broke a controller and left in the middle. It's
Yeah, interesting times.
yeah, the MLB is doing some really cool stuff. We're actually having the baseball stars play online against each other for their
Hmm.
teams and letting fans in. So I think one of the things that's going to come out of this when settles down is I think that esports is really there's still the money in esports is a question, but esports is going to see an even bigger boom
Hmm.
because people are going to see the entertainment value in esports and the value of you can actually watch it from the comfort of your own home and still have a great time.
Right, right. Wow, oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a great point, which was waiting to get highlighted by somebody, like you, like esports and the boom of esports because of this thing, you know. So
And I think you're going
great.
to see more. You saw a lot of special professional sport teams over the last couple of years jumping into esports, but nobody's really trying to make money. I think
Hmm.
that's still the question. But I think now you've got them all. I mean, you've got the stars playing sports. The NBA's
Yeah,
got their stars playing sports. The baseball's
yeah,
got NASCAR. So I think you're going to see that trend continue. I think you see a lot of
awesome.
those guys. Of course, again, it's great when you have a lot of money and a lot of free time. You do a lot of gaming anyway. but now, but now they're going to be doing it more to support their teams, and I think one of them's doing it for charity. I think you're going to see a lot more of this. I mean, my friends are saying, "Oh, I finished Netflix, right? Or I finished Amazon. There's nothing else to watch."
Yeah, yeah, I was one of them. Like I posted that I'm actually binge watching Peppa Pig now, because nothing else left for me to watch in Netflix. So yeah, and in fact, I saw this IGN trailer today, Mandalorian, season 2. I was literally caked for once, and I said, like, can't be true. I started googling, and it was just like they were literally trolling that 420 thing. It was funny. It was really really funny.
It's gonna,
So.
yes. So I think content has always been. So I used to joke, content is king.
Mhm.
Distribution is the pope, and acquisition is the gods. Right. So content right now is proving that it's king. Right. Like if you've got new content and good content, as long as you can find a way to get to an audience, there's a place for it right now.
Absolutely. I totally buy this, going through the same phase, so I can understand, how it's going. So cool, man. This is like pretty, if you look outside and if you see the news and everything, it's kind of depressing, right? So how do you stay positive, and especially how do you keep your family and your daughter, who probably is pretty young, right? So how do you keep everybody around you so positive and motivated, and that this shall pass, like kind of thing, how do you do, like, what's your you know uh, routine for that, in a way, because we need constant push that it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right.
Well, I think it's actually funny thing is I think it's harder for you and I who are such extroverts and so used to traveling to get used to like sticking to a seat for more than 10 minutes. Um, I think part of it's a routine. During the weekdays, I get up, or the family gets up at almost always the same time. I actually, I go for a 3.5 mile walk with the wife in the morning.
Hmm.
First thing in the morning, daughter's up starting with school. It's a routine. And then we come home, have a cup of coffee, you know, read emails, do that. We'll have the coffee. So it's just, I think a consistent routine is one of the best ways to stay positive. I think the people that I know that are struggling are jumping around. They're sleeping in one day, they're not sleeping in the next, they're having trouble sleeping. And I think some kind of normalcy, you got to control what you can, and keeping a schedule together, planning your day out. one of the things is like my wife will test this. I start cussing to myself when people start scheduling meetings between noon and 1. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, because that's when I want to have lunch. I'm trying to keep a regular schedule, and it's too easy when you're home to
Uh-huh.
have the lines blur, right? Like,
Right.
because now you're working from home, you never leave work. So
That's right.
I try to set a start time and an end time, and I'll check email later in the evening if I have to, but only if I have to. I took today off. Today's Monday here. I took today off as a mental health day because, you feel guilty about taking a day off. I'm working from home, but
Good for you.
yeah, if you don't, you gotta. I mean, you need a break. Like, so I looked at my work email once today because I'm still managing a crisis. Otherwise, then I, worked on my taxes. I went for 2 walks. I went for a drive because I haven't driven my car in 3 weeks, and I was afraid the battery
Wow.
was going to die.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so it was a good mental health day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably going to make sure I take at least 1 or 2 of those a month. I think especially right now, it's super important. So that's how to stay positive. And then little things I picked up, I'm trying new recipes,
Mm-hmm.
playing a little bit, trying to play some new games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just you got to find something. I'm building Legos,
Oh, nice.
that's always been a hobby and passion. So now I'm working on the Slave One, it's Boba
Mm-hmm.
Fett ship. So
Nice.
it's hobbies,
Mhm.
and then
Interesting.
chats with friends.
Thank you. Right now for right, all the events like the White Knight, then the Games Beat, Serious Play. Even I don't know about the GDC. What will happen? They have GDC summer, but I don't know.
It's
Very
I
unlikely that it will happen, right? So
I mean, I would love for it to happen, but
same here. But yeah,
I'm a betting man, and right now I would bet a pretty significant amount that it's not going to happen, at least not in person.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how it possibly can. It's
Right.
unfortunate, but I think for me, I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that there's going to be no in-person trade shows for the video game industry this year.
Right, right, yeah. So, like, these were very, very important for people like the industry guys and everybody, gamers also and stuff. So, what do you think? Will it change the way we actually like? So again, Rami Ismail, right? So he started doing this game dev world like
Yep.
2 years ago, I guess, right? So probably because he saw the pain of the underdeveloped countries, people in the game developers and stuff. So, and he started doing that because to give them the same kind of access to the content, information, and everything, right? So, do you think that these kind of things will become part of the overall big scheme of things for people like to host, virtual events and stuff? And
I do. I actually do. I think that there's a huge opportunity there, especially for the emerging markets, like you mentioned. I think one of the other impetus for Rami starting the Game Dev World was that he did a talk every year at GDC called "The Number
yeah,
One Reason to Be,"
yeah,
and he had, under people from underrepresented companies come up and talk about their experiences in games, and
right.
about half of those people
Never got the visa.
since Trump took office couldn't get a visa to come to
Yeah,
GDC.
no,
So that's one of the reasons he actually started Game Dev
yeah,
World, and I think that kind of propelled it. The folks at Indie Game Business, actually, Jay Powell and his team have been running virtual conferences for a couple years already
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Fedor and his team over at Meet to Match have been doing some great things
yeah,
already.
yeah.
So I think that you're going to see. I think you're going to see the industry respond in some different ways. I think that you'll see more stuff going virtual. I mean, it is harder to build a interpersonal long-term relationship over
Hmm.
video than it
Yeah,
isn't without meeting somebody in person.
right.
But I think what it will do is give access to people, because everybody used to think, oh, well, if you don't go to GDC, you've got no chance, right? Or GDC was to set up meetings for Gamescom. Or I think a lot of folks now may, even when it gets back to some semblance of normal, may not have to go to as many shows. And I
Hmm.
know how, for a small developer to come all the way to GDC and spend $300, $400 a night on a roach-infested small hotel room in a crappy area, I can't imagine. I don't even as an indie developer, you're coming from Europe or India. I can't imagine you come into GDC and it costing less than $3 or $5 grand by the time you're done, right?
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you've got a
easily.
and you've got a team and you're bringing 2 or 3 people, now if you're only going to, instead of going to 4 of these conferences, you're only going to 1. And,
Uh-huh.
maybe you're paying a couple $100 to go to the online conferences,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're just able to be better educated and figure out which conferences make sense to go to and which don't.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wonders if E3 will ever come back now,
Wow.
right?
Oh, really? Oh, don't say that.
Well, it's been suffering for years.
I know, yeah, yeah, and a lot of issues and stuff internally, the way it was managed and everything, and
So we'll have to see if it comes back. Maybe this will force it to change significantly. But there's some shows that may not come back, right?
mm,
They may try to come back and realize that people don't need them anymore, don't want to go, and they can't
mm-hmm,
get the audience.
mm,
I think of all the industries that are equipped to deal with this, I do think the video game industry is one of the best suited because we are usually very quick to adopt technology. We have the latest technology. We're used to doing stuff remotely or on video or connecting through technology. So I think that while this let's be honest, sucks for everybody, and I'm not discounting all the horrible stuff that's happening to people, both the economy
yeah,
and personally, I think
yeah,
that the game industry is probably better suited than just about any to adapt and adapt quickly.
right, right. I
we've
agree.
been we've been focused on digital distribution for a long time now, and I think you're going to see more and more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that people manage it right. Our industry will do much better than most.
Awesome. So, okay, like before we conclude, a couple of different kind of questions,
Sure,
So, so
I like the first
what
couple. You kind of threw me off.
that I did just with you, actually,
It's hard, and it's actually hard to take me by surprise. So that was impressive.
Oh, thank you. So what's one thing you've done during this lockdown which you had never done in your life before, other than not flying? You know,
Well, yeah, there you go. Not flying for
other
maybe
than not flying.
that I've never done before. Well, dress up in almost a suit of armor to go grocery shopping. That's something I've never done before. Put on gloves and a mask, and um, I'm trying to think. What have I never done before? I honestly don't think it's anything I've never done before. I've maybe been more disciplined than I ever have about exercising.
That's a big
Um,
thing.
but again, there's only been since this started. There's only been 3 or 4 days, maybe five days that I haven't gone for the 3.5 mile walk in the morning. Those were the days that it was actually raining, and I didn't
Hmm.
feel like getting myself sick.
Hmm.
Um, and I've actually something I haven't done in a while. I've actually, I'm the lowest weight I've been in 30 years. So that's something I haven't done before in 30 years. So
Interesting. Interesting.
otherwise, I will say this, one of the other things I've done is I've taken the time to reach out to a couple friends a week that I haven't talked to in ages.
That's amazing. That's a good, really good thing.
So trying to do that. And I've actually given more free advice to good friends over the last couple months, or
Hmm.
just been there to listen than I probably have done in my career. Free is usually a 4-letter F word to a consultant.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Wow. Okay.
so maybe that's it. So what about you? What's the one thing you haven't done?
Not one. I'm doing three things. So I cooked for the first time in my life.
Oh,
You know,
wow. That's
yeah,
big.
that's really really big, and I cooked really well. Everybody said that it was really really good, and so that's
What'd you
one.
make? What'd you make?
Two things. Once I made the pasta arrabbiata.
Mm?
Big pasta fan, and it came out really good. The second was it's kind of rice dish. It's pulao.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah, I know
very
plow.
very yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, I know. I
Fun.
remember you liked your pasta because I took you to the Italian place in Santa
Absolutely.
Monica. All
Yeah,
right. So the
amazing place. Yeah. So
what
that,
was
and I'm growing
number two?
my beard for the first time in my life, like full beard. I thought you wouldn't even recognize me. So because
Oh, well, well,
so
I shaved mine off. So you're growing one, and I decided to shave mine off until this is over. So
no, I need to take care. If I start doing it, I have to maintain all the time. And why should I do that? I'm not
well,
meeting
my
anyone anyway. So
well, my problem is that mine gets so thick and so crazy that without being able to go to my barber to trim it. So,
and the third thing I'm doing is I'm learning piano. you
oh,
know
nice.
yep. So let's make use of this time we have. I
No,
don't know
that's
when we're gonna
brilliant.
get back. So yeah, these three things, is
If it goes on much longer, I think I am going to start, learning. So I was never fluent, but I was decent at Spanish for a while. And
uh
then I, just almost never used it. So I think I'm going to probably, again, I don't think I'm going to take classes, but I'm going to start studying up and trying to get a little bit better in kind of business conversational
right.
since I spent so much time in Latin America and I'm partnered with a Latin American company. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll do that. That'll be the next thing that I focus on.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what Kate also mentioned. She's learning language and stuff, using Duolingo and, so yeah, interesting. And so, in fact, a lot of friends, our mutual friends are already interviewed and they all shared something, interesting things. Of course,
Yeah. Now I feel
spending time.
lame.
No, not at all.
I'm getting through my
Uh,
Lego backlog and my
yeah,
game backlog.
yeah. So
Actually,
this
there's
is
one thing I've never been well, no, it's a never. I haven't been reading a lot of business books,
mhm.
up until the last. So I've started trying to read at least one business book a month. So that's
Oh,
something that
nice.
new.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay. Yeah, I haven't got into that yet. So yeah, probably. So great. And the last question, and which I posted on Facebook, and you replied to that. But just again, for everybody else, are we living in a game? Do we
are we?
confirm now?
If we are, can somebody hit the reset button at least on this year? Could I,
Yeah,
could
I'm
I,
writing off this year completely, anyways. Like,
could I just hit reset? Like, I just there are times, I'm sure this has happened to you too, where you kind of wake up and you think like, did I just did I just lose a life in that level? Or or is I feel like well, again, I think the last couple of years in general, but this year I think if you'd gone to Hollywood with this script, they would have
hmm?
thrown you out thinking this could have never happened. I mean, come on,
Right.
we've had those movies, we've had Contagion and all these other movies that have portrayed all this, but none of them had it right. None of them
Right.
had it as crazy as it actually is,
And
and
absolutely.
it's just no. I like I said, if we are in a game, somebody hit reset already.
Awesome, man. Great. Thanks for your time, and it was just amazing. It was not just like a lot of information was there. It was pretty, light and funny and all that. As you are, we spend a lot of time together, anyways, and I know
Gotta have a
everything.
sense. I tell you what, if you want another survival skill, stop taking everything so seriously. I mean, there's
Right.
enough serious stuff going on right now.
Yep.
Just lighten up, people. A little sense of humor, a little bit of stop wanting to be offended by everything, because
Awesome.
the minute you allow people to upset and offend you, you give them control over you and your emotions.
Right.
Just stop and control what you
Brilliant.
can. So
Brilliant.
that's it. It's always a pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the day we actually see each other in person soon.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yes, likewise. Like that, I'm just missing, my flights, my friends, my, hanging out with, and that amazing Italian restaurant, you know. Uh,
That's one of the first things we'll do when we can travel again.
Absolutely,
We'll
man.
go
Like
there.
the garlic and the olive oil and everything, It's
And then we need to make you a bunch of money here so you can keep one of the pizzas here. So
uh,
so I can drive it when you're not around.
Yep, yep. So let's buy that Corvette. I don't think it's an expensive one, the
Oh,
C8,
that C8. Yeah, oh God,
and
it's a thing of beauty.
it's beautiful. Joe bought it, and
Well, now
literally,
he bought that one, but the new one, the C8, the 600 plus horsepower one that they're going to be
yeah,
buying.
yeah. The 2 days back, yeah, I read the reviews and stuff.
Oh
It's
my
mind
God.
blowing. We're gonna have it soon. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm drool. Can you see the drool?
That's our motivation, right? To keep working. So yeah. As for everybody else, we are part of the car game industry club also and stuff. Which does amazing stuff. Like during this lockdown, they had a rally of all the beautiful cars for kids' birthday and everything. Like it's
Yeah,
it's just incredible, you know.
yeah, they did it for a series of sick kids too. They all drove by. I think there was 80 something cars
Yeah,
drove through some neighborhoods, and
what a
and
beautiful gesture! What a beautiful gesture!
it's great. So yeah, I'm just look, boys and their toys. All else I can say. Of course, in this industry, lots of women have some crazy toys too.
Oh
Kate and her
yes.
swords and her axes, and
All right. Cool. Thanks a lot,
all right, sir.
Justin. You know, it was amazing. Thanks a lot. You know, and hope to see you soon. You know, otherwise
Yes.
we'll keep on talking anyways. You know.
Yeah, and like I said, so if anybody's got questions for me or just wants to reach out, you can find me at SC Slug. So S is in
Yes.
Sam, C is in Charlie, and the
I'll
word
I'll,
slug
I'll put
at
that in this
Twitter.
also. Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
and then reach out. Always happy to hear from game industry folks. So
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
take care, sir. Have
Thanks.
a good night.
You too.
All right, bye bye.
Yeah.